Welcome back to the final installment of the four-part series revolved around the Fundamental Four. The four fundamental routines that you need to create the ideal day. Ultimately, the meat and potatoes of ritual design. And today we're going to wrap up with, of course, the PM routine, the evening routine, the thing that you do, the series of events that sets up this whole system, prepares the morning, and really makes you have a fantastic night. So let's get into it. Welcome back to yet again another episode of the Upgrade My Rituals podcast. My name is Kevin McKellar, the host, and this is the show for stressed out overachievers like yourself who are really sick and tired of people telling them that they need to create all these habits and instill new positive habits, ditch negative habits, and really are looking for a system, an ideal day that ultimately touches on all the areas of their life that they want to improve: their finances, their relationships, their body, their mental capacity, all these different things, their career. And basically when their head hits the pillow, they feel great about what they really accomplished that day and with the trajectory of their life that's actually headed in front of them. So today, if you are brand new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing and, of course, hit that bell notification so you can be notified of each and every episode. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back. This is the final episode of a four-part series I did, the last 3 episodes, talking about really diving deep into each part of the Fundamental Four. The Fundamental Four are the 4 routines that make up really probably 50 to 75% of ritual design. And this is the system that I teach all my students how to create their ideal day. So again, we come back to this point of we become so stressed and so overwhelmed with the opportunities to create positive, lasting change in our life. And we're trying to habit track and do all these things. And really, when you think about brushing your teeth, it's not a habit. It's just something that you do. It's part of your routine. And actually, that was a perfect segue because it is usually part of your PM routine. Tonight, again, we're going to talk about the final PM evening routine that you can be using to set yourself up for a great end of the day, and then also, more importantly, a great start to the next day. So, in my experience, there are 3 areas that the PM or the evening routine can really benefit you. And basically the 3 are leverage, recharge, and connect. Let's start with leverage. What do I mean by leverage? Well, I mean that it's a perfect example. Right now, while recording this episode, it is 9:15 at night. I am in the middle of my PM routine. Part of my PM routine is a block to work on Upgrade, to work on the business. And on Monday, that means recording. On Tuesday, that means some editing. Wednesday and Thursday is different things. So, okay, that's part of it, right? I leverage this time because most people, and again, to me, it's not leverage at all, right? I don't consider this leverage. I consider this just time in my day before I go to sleep. We as a society have been taught that our day is 9 to 5, our work day. And when we get home, that really doesn't count as our day. It's like our time to relax and our time to just unwind or whatever, right? And of course, life has gotten crazier over the last, few decades or centuries, if you will. And we, we've definitely gotten much busier. So it's really shuffling the kids off to after school activities, fry up something for dinner, get the kids to bed, if you have kids for that matter. If you're a student, get your homework done. I mean, maybe we can find some time to relax in there, but how can we find any time whatsoever to leverage something for ourselves, do something for that business that we want, or do something for our career development? We want to switch careers. There's no time for that. Well, again, we come back to the same idea that we talk about a lot, is that there is the same 24 hours that every single person has in the world. Why is it that Elon Musk is able to do all the things that he does, and we can't find time to meditate for 10 minutes? It comes down to priorities, of course. Elon Musk sets his priorities. I don't really know his schedule. I just know that it's intense, and I know that he has quite a few companies that somehow he's running all these companies. It's like amazing. Now, I don't know holistically all the other areas of his life. Is he happy? I don't really care, to be honest with you. I mean, I wish him well, but I don't really care about Elon Musk. I care about me. And for me, the reason why I'm able to leverage this time to work on work on the business, is because the fact that my wife and I are okay with only spending 15 to 20 minutes together, really like together at night. And it's not quality time at all. It's just chilling on the couch watching TV, right? And that's it. We're okay with that. That's our priorities, because we know that Friday and Saturday night, at least, I do not do anything on the business. We always spend those evenings together. Whether we go out or not, we haven't been going out for a while, but we usually watch a movie or whatever. And that's my priorities. That's our priorities set as a family. Other people may be different. And my child is young, so she's already in bed, and she'll probably be sleeping at this time for quite some time. So it's not something else I have to really worry about. So I'm able to leverage this time. It means nothing to me that it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm tired. Like, yeah, sure, I'm tired, but I'm still, what am I going to be doing? Watching TV, playing video games? Like, I mean, I could, sometimes I do, but like very, very rarely, because this is part of my PM routine. It's set in stone. You can use this time at night to leverage anything that you want to actually grow in your life, any type of improvement of any category that you want to see improvement on. Maybe you can't find time to work out, and you know what? You have to switch and shift your body to learn how to work out at night. You got the time. The time's there. Go for it. Make it happen. So that's one thing, leverage. The next thing is to recharge. When I say recharge, it also is biologically getting us prepared for a good night's sleep. So what does that mean? Well, these are common things that you've probably heard of before. No screen time, ideally an hour before bed. If you have to, use blue blockers. I am not strict about either of those. I probably need to be, because recently, over the last probably year, I've been having less effective sleep, and all my life I've had perfect sleep. I was out within seconds hitting the pillow, and I would wake up not even once throughout the evening. Things are different randomly for the last year. I don't know. So I definitely have to probably start implementing some of those things. You might want to take some melatonin, because as a supplement. While our body naturally produces it, we might be fighting against it with what we're doing in our lifestyles, looking at screens, staying up, whatever. For instance, I have some tea right here. This is a ginger, a ginger turmeric tea. It's good tea. But I'm trying to get some more fluids in my body before I go to bed. I'm trying to use this, again, we're kind of almost leveraging this time, right, to just get something else healthy in me. We could take a Epsom salt bath. We can, decrease some inflammation. We can do a whole slew of things. And I'm not here to list out what you should be doing biologically to recharge, but ideally this is the time that we've put in a whole bunch of work throughout the day. And this doesn't mean that you have to stop working and spend 3 hours in a spa retreat. This is just something that you want to implement somehow to make sure you're taking care of your physical body. Maybe also your mental state. Maybe you want to do some journaling at night. Maybe you want to do your mantras if you have some at night. Maybe meditate. Whatever floats your boat. I think setting something to recharge your mind and body is important, and in the evening, because also it sets us up for a better sleep, which of course sets us up for a better AM routine. Finally, my third idea behind implementing the PM routine is to connect. And I mean that with and I mean connect with other human beings. That may be the people in your household, that may be someone outside of your household. I think throughout the day, we are so slammed with the ambitions that we have as overachieving high performers, but also with the demands that the world has for us. We have to wake up, we have to get to work, we have to put in a day's work, we have to, come home with the, hopefully not the baggage of work. We have to worry about, how we're growing our savings. We have to, do all these things that just the world is tough, and it demands us, demands a lot from us. And I think if we don't spend any time to connect on an emotional level with people, then we can get in a bad pattern of not making that a priority. So for me, again, I kind of mentioned this earlier, like part of my PM routine is to make sure that I have some time to just chill on the couch with my wife. Now, again, this is not quality time. We're not sitting, was it Saturday night? We went out to dinner, and we haven't been on a date night in a long time with pandemic and our child being born. Like, we have not been out I can't even remember. It was awesome. I mean, we just sat. It was actually very interesting because I felt like it was almost like it was like a new person I was with. It was really weird. It was like very cool. And it was a nice reaffirming affirmation. I still love my wife. She still loves me. That's great. That's the quality time, and that's the stuff that we may not be able to implement on a daily aspect. But even still, I think if I work to the bone until 10:45, and my wife's like, it texts me saying, like, I'm going to bed, you're still down there working. That's in my experience, in my opinion, subjectively, that's not the most effective way that I can structure my PM routine. I want to make sure I spend some time, and even if it's just time doing things for her, like if I'm just giving myself in service of just like, hey, what can I get you? Like little things, right? Those little things for me, I think it goes a long way than just being on the couch and watching Bravo. So those are my 3 tenets, if you will, of the PM routine. Recharge, leverage, and connect. What I like to do is I like to walk you through my PM routine. I think you might get some context from it. So the very first thing I do is a block. So I'll after we have dinner, I clean the whole kitchen. That's pretty much it for that portion. Is not falling in a routine or anything. It's just we have dinner and I clean the kitchen. Have to really make sure that cleaning the kitchen, again, we talked about this on the last couple episodes. My clog is doing the dishes and making sure the kitchen is clean because I have to do other stuff in the kitchen for the next day and the next part of the routine. So I come down to the office and I work for about, ideally, 2 hours from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I try to get down a little before 8 because I stop right at 10 o'clock. I have an alarm that says something. I digress. I stop at 10 o'clock, and at that point, I take 10 minutes to plan the next day. So I literally take out one of my planners that I use, and I do my daily planning for the next day and the daily review of the current day that I'm ending. That takes about 10 minutes, sometimes even less. And then I'll head upstairs and I'll do a couple things. I will prep the coffee machine for the next day. I'll prep my clothes that I'm wearing for the next day. That's one less decision I have to make in the AM routine. And am I missing something? I feel like I might be missing something. And then I'll make tea. I'll usually do that beforehand while I'm working. And then I'll pretty much at that point, it'll be pretty much ready to wrap up. And I'll spend about, like I said, 15 minutes just chilling on the couch and just kind of, watching whatever my wife is watching, which is usually Bravo. And I've learned to love it. That's my PM routine. It's pretty simple, but it does hit on all my tenets that I've listed out. For me, a big part of the PM routine is the business block. It's one of the most uninterrupted times I can work on Upgrade. And if I didn't have that structured inside my PM routine, many times it might not get done, because when you don't schedule something, when you can't measure something, it's very hard to manage. And that's what this whole system is about. Now, one other thing I didn't touch on, and I'm going to kind of close up today with an important part of the PM routine, and this is probably something you've heard of before, but it is something that is very powerful because it ultimately, you can implement things that set your morning routine up for success. For instance, making sure my kitchen is clean, making sure that the coffee is prepped, making sure my clothes are laid out. Those things are really have nothing to do with me and the night. It's really setting myself up for a successful morning. My morning routine cannot be spent, in my opinion, cannot be spent doing anything, for lack of a better word, clerical. I don't want to be doing anything monotonous that is not invigorating for my mind, body, and soul. That's me. That's how important I think my morning routine is, to put my whole day in front of me off to the right foot. So the PM routine is very important, kind of setting that up. And really, if you will, planning the day before, planning the next day in my planner is kind of also part of really prepping for the next day. So the PM routine, for most of it, probably 75% of it, is actually preparing for a successful morning routine. That is pretty much it. That is the fundamental 4. In the last 4 episodes, we went over the AM routine. What do you do in the morning to set your day up for success? The before work routine, how do you make that transition from your home life to the chaos of work? The after work routine, right? How do we leave that baggage at the office and come home and really be present and possibly even leverage that time? And then finally, how do we make the most of our evenings in the PM routine? These 4 fundamental routines is the meat and potatoes of ritual design. It's one of the first things that I started doing and implementing before I added all the other elements that actually made it a system, right? The actuator, the clog, the variable routine, the keystone routine, right? Which is all the things we didn't really talk about. Those are things actually, of course, that I go over through Day by Design, is my program that I work with my students on. But for this case, I wanted to give you a deep dive into each of these fundamental 4s, because I think this is really where we start, right? We execute our ideal day, and then when things kind of hit the fan, then we use some of the other elements to figure out what can we shift and what can we tweak to do better. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Of course, subscribe if you aren't already, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified next time we launch a episode. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the PM routine for today. What are some of maybe the tenets that you want to add in? Do you think you need to do a little bit more connecting with people? Do you want to use this time to leverage something in your life? I want to hear it in the comment section. And once again, of course, thank you for listening. I'll see you next week on the Upgrade My Rituals podcast.